So I've been so entrenched in the federal government news, just following all these lists and everything, and I didn't even see this come out. I just saw this morning, and of all websites, it was the Tallahassee Democrat that showed this on. I use Chrome on my phone, so like if you don't get on Chrome for a while, if you have it set up that way, it'll automatically pop up a new tab and it'll show you some news articles at the bottom. Well, that was the case when I woke up this morning and just went to Google Chrome to check out something else. I noticed this article, and the state of Florida has officially an open carry state. We are official. All trial courts are immediately prohibited from enforcing the unconstitutional state ban on open carry. The Second Amendment has won in the red state of Florida officially. This is huge. This is amazing. So Florida not even technically, it is a full-on constitutional carry state. I'd say that it's like 95% of the way there. The only reason why I don't give it 100% constitutional carry is because felons still can't carry, dishonorable discharge, mental illness, domestic violence, drug addiction. So, I mean, the Second Amendment doesn't say anything about mental illness and all those other things. So, I mean, you can't quite give it 100%. However, this is as close to constitutional carry as you can possibly get, and I am absolutely over the moon for this. It's amazing. I mean, I've been advocating for this forever, and I mean, it's been 40 years since the open carry law went into effect, which, of course, banned the ability to open carry in the state of Florida, unless you're going hunting, camping, or fishing, going directly to or returning from, with no stops anywhere else. You have to go directly there or back if you're open carrying, but now that's not the case. If you want to openly display your firearms in your car, I believe that's already been the law for a little while now. But you can open carry anywhere you damn well please. And if you, from what I read, I'm not a legal scholar, so if you happen to live here in Florida, don't take what I say, like absolute directly gospel truth or anything. But so I've read, like, if there's a store that doesn't want firearms in their store, the worst thing that they can do is just trespass you. So if you walked into, I'm not even going to name a store, if you walk into some public store or whatever, and they've got some like firearms policy or whatever, because stores technically can, because, private businesses at the end of the day, the worst that could happen to you is you just get trespassed, like if you want to, raise a big deal about it or whatever. So, I mean, this is absolutely amazing news. It's so freaking cool. And I don't know how this is going to affect the progressives, the liberals. There's a lot of leftists and liberals, progressives that live here in St. Pete, especially downtown, like in that area. So not sure how they're taking the news right now. This actually broke, like 4 days ago. So not sure if that's going to scare them enough to where they want to leave the state because they're just deathly afraid of guns. I know they were freaking out over the permitless carry of concealed weapons that came out on July 1st of last year, I think it was. So, not sure. But I have a feeling if they start seeing people proudly, openly carrying their firearms out in public, I have a feeling they're going to feel a certain way about that. So maybe that might drive the cost of housing down in Florida a little bit more. So, yeah, that will be interesting. I know the sheriff's departments, they're all getting ready for it. It officially goes into effect on the 25th. So here's the guidance memorandum, Office of the Attorney General. I know the text is small. But anyway, so it's to Florida's law enforcement agencies and prosecuting authorities. We write to provide guidance on an important development last week in Florida's appellate courts affecting the right to bear arms. In McDaniels versus State, the First District Court of Appeal struck down Florida's ban on open carry, Section 790.053 Florida statutes, finding that law-abiding adult citizens have a right to carry firearms openly in public under the Second Amendment. The court's decision is attached, so they attached the court's decision. I believe that's on the next page. The defendant in McDaniels carried a sidearm in a holster tucked in his pants, but the gun was uncovered and visible. Importantly, he was a law-abiding citizen and did not threaten or otherwise menace anyone with the gun. His actions were peaceful and orderly. When authorities charged him with violating Section 790.053, he moved to dismiss, asserting that the law is incompatible with the Second Amendment, which it is. The trial court rejected that argument, but the First District reversed. It held that Section 790.053 violates the Second Amendment under NYSRPA versus Bruin, 590 US 1, 2022, and United States versus Rahimi 602 US 681 2024 because it is inconsistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. And OP 11 to 12, the court concluded that open carry was the default mode of bearing arms, which it is, during the relevant founding period. OP 16, we believe the McDaniels decision correctly applied Second Amendment law as enunciated in Bruin. Let's see, because no other appellate court has considered the constitutionality of Section 790.053 under Bruin versus Rahimi, the First District's decision is binding on all Florida trial courts. See Pardo v. State 596. Anyway, just, legal jargon. Effectively, the McDaniels decision is now the law of the state because no Florida court will any longer be empowered to convict a defendant for violating Section 790.053. Prudence counsels that prosecutors and law enforcement personnel should likewise refrain from arresting or prosecuting law-abiding citizens carrying a firearm in a manner that is visible to others. Similarly, consistent with this decision, my office moving forward will no longer defend convictions and prosecutions under Section 790.053 in cases like Mr. McDaniels. The McDaniels decision does not, however, prevent law enforcement from continuing to police those who exhibit in a rude, careless, angry, or threatening manner in public. So don't point your guns at people. Don't wave your gun around. Don't get all freaking crazy with your fucking firearms. Just keep it pointed down. Honestly, like most appropriately, you should just, always have it always pointing down, but holstered or even concealed. I think carrying concealed is always the smarter choice anyway, because you're not going to have some lunatic sneak up behind you and just snatch your gun out of your holster, which it is possible. I know people like they've got locking mechanisms and stuff like that. I get it. However, I think you're just better off just showing to the public that you appear to not be armed when you in fact are armed. It's just my own personal opinion. I have nothing at all against open carry. I hope that people just start wearing their guns loud and proud, and dude, that would just make my ear. All right, and nothing in the decision permits individuals to menace others with firearms in public, nor does it undermine the state's authority to prohibit felons from possessing firearms. Additionally, the court's decision neither considered nor implicated Florida's law listing certain locations where the carrying of a firearm, open or concealed, may be unauthorized. See Section 790.06. The same holds true for private property owners who maintain the longstanding legal prerogative to compel individuals carrying firearms to leave their premises. Any person carrying a firearm who violates the private property owner's warning to depart will be committing armed trespass, which is a third-degree felony. What? All right, so you heard it right here. So, yeah, if you go somewhere, private property, and let's see, and they violate their warning to depart. So, yeah, so if you can't carry a firearm into a private location, and I guess if you've been warned, it doesn't sound like that they technically even have to warn you. They probably just have to display the warning somewhere that's in plain view. Yeah, you could be charged with a felony, so you probably should be careful where you carry your firearms. But yeah, anyway, so I'm sure that 911 calls are going to go up like crazy, probably for the first few weeks, especially with tourists coming down. I know that's going to be an ongoing problem. There's a guy I follow on YouTube. His YouTube channel is The Armed Fisherman. He goes all over the state fishing because in Florida, you're allowed to open carry when you go fishing. Not sure what he's going to do with his channel now. He'll probably just keep doing what he's doing. But people call the police on him all the time. That's what brings so much drama to his YouTube channel, because a lot of people are here visiting from out of state because, it is Florida, for crying out loud. So a lot of people freak out when they see some dude carrying an AR-15 and a fishing rod, and they call the police, and they always show up, and they have to inform the people who call the police, like, it's perfectly legal here. He's fishing. You're allowed to carry while you're fishing. Then, of course, they always get into an argument with the cops, like, well, that's bullshit. That's the stupidest thing. What, are you going to shoot the fish or something? And sometimes the armed fisherman, sometimes he will educate them a little bit as to why it is a wise idea to especially saltwater fish while you're armed. And anyway, so I've got another one right here. Important message from Sheriff Wayne Ivey about Florida's open carry laws. So It's a little bit long, but
hello, everyone. I'm Sheriff
that's
Wayne
okay,
out here
though.
at the Brevard County Sheriff's Office.
You can skip.
And this evening, I want to share with everyone
ahead.
some exciting news and also guidance regarding a recent appellate court
Even the
ruling
sheriffs are excited.
that most of you have probably seen
you think
by
they'd be
now,
all
pertaining to
irritated,
Florida's
stressed
law
out.
that prohibits the open carry of a firearm. As most are probably aware, Florida State Statute 790.053 prohibits the open carry of a firearm unless the person carrying the firearm is in the process of going hunting or fishing. While that statute has been...
Oh, yeah, by the way, I was going to mention, I don't know if he actually goes into it, but it's any establishment that primarily serves alcohol, bars. You can't have any firearms in bars. That's still going to stand. That's still going to be considered the state law, even if, like, the bar owner would prefer, like, it be okay if somebody wants to have a firearm in a bar, which that's the most common sense thing ever. You don't want a bunch of, like, pissed off drunk dudes with guns. I mean, I get it. So just don't drink. I don't know. Anyway, I get it. That's not like a Second Amendment absolute, but, you know,
place for quite some time. Today's ruling from Florida's First District Court of Appeals held that Florida's open carry ban was unconstitutional. In furtherance, the court found that prohibiting the open carry of firearms was incompatible with the Second Amendment's guarantee of the right to bear arms and with our nation's historical traditions.
You know, as the Democrats, they believe they're clinching more power along the way over the last 10 years. But they're just losing ground and losing more, especially on the state level, man. Like over the last, 12, 13 years, we went from one constitutional carry state in the entire country to 26, which is crazy, man. Like the U.S., little by little, is just getting redder and redder and redder, and it's just so beautiful to see.
While the opinion at this point is not yet final, as the court allows time for filing of a motion for rehearing or reconsideration,
yeah, I think it's the 25th.
There's no reason to expect that the court will reverse its decision. So the ruling will have an immediate impact on Florida's law that prohibits the open carry of firearms unless going hunting or fishing. Folks, this is a huge win for the state of Florida.
Oh, it's a massive win.
As we've all seen in the past few days and even hours, how vital our God-given right to self-defense truly is.
Our state just got a lot safer.
This incredible ruling by the court not only upholds the Constitution.
Yeah, and of course, Democrats are like, what are you talking about? Everybody's got guns everywhere. How's everything going to be safe when everybody's got guns everywhere? Because it's a fucking deterrence. If everybody's standing in line at the bank and they're armed, no dude's going to rob the fucking bank. All I'm saying.
But also gives every Florida citizen the ability to protect themselves and those around them.
Yes, it does.
Since first being elected sheriff in 2013, I have advocated and lobbied Florida's legislature to pass open carry for Florida citizens.
Good.
As 45 other states have some form of open carry.
Yeah, look at this, man. Open carry is allowed, and it's the solid red ones. I mean, look, even fucking Oregon and Washington, too. All these states, all these down here, all the states around here, even Pennsylvania. That surprises me. Vermont, that somewhat surprises me a little bit. Michigan I already knew about. Yeah, so, I mean, look at all this shit, man. Open carry is allowed, but requires a permit for some types of weapons. So those are the ones that are just lined out in that orangish red. Open carry of long guns only is allowed. So only 2 states. And I would not be surprised if New York specifies that an AR-15 is an exemption. That one's not going to apply. But Florida open carry is prohibited. Look at that. Only 1, 2, 3 states in the District of Columbia. That's it. Where it was prohibited. Well, not anymore.
In fact, New York, California, Illinois, South Carolina, and Florida are the only states in the country that have statutes that prohibit the open carrying of a firearm.
All right.
And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be like New York, California, Illinois, or South Carolina in anything, especially something to do with the protection of my rights. So what does this mean moving forward, and more importantly, starting right now? While the state of Florida could appeal the court's ruling, it's extremely unlikely that the Attorney General would do so.
There's no way.
As he supports the court's decision, and especially...
No, dude, like the Attorney General already came out. I'm not sure if I have that post, but he already came out and said that technically this ruling only applies to the first district, like the first court district, which only applies to like 30 counties, like the northern half of the state of Florida. But he said that he is going to send an order to all the districts or all the counties that this will indeed apply to the entire state, and the state attorney is not going to take up any pending crimes or pending hearings with regard to open carrying. So essentially, he's already getting ahead of it. He already got ahead of it and said that he's not going to try to get this overturned in any way. It sounds like, if anything, he's praising it.
Since the governor of the free state of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has already made it very clear he would like to see our Florida legislature pass open carry.
Yeah, he said that back when they passed permitless carry, concealed carry, and somebody asked him, like, well, okay, so this is really great. This is great news. We can conceal carry without the government's permission. But, like, what about the open carry? He said, well, the reason why that's not being passed was because the legislators didn't write it in the legislation. If they did, I would have happily signed it. But it just wasn't it just wasn't in the bill. It only applied to concealed carry. So he's already publicly come out and advocated for open carry in Florida.
Into law. While the court's process will have to run its course, this ruling has a tremendous impact on the current state statute and renders it, at the very least, unconstitutional. With that in mind, I've spoken to our state attorney, Will Shiner, as well as the legal advisor for the Florida Sheriff's Association, and as such, I'm directing our deputies to no longer enforce Florida State Statute 790.053 as it pertains to the open carrying of a firearm. In addition, I've also spoken with our Brevard Chiefs of Police, and they are instructing their teams as well to no longer enforce the statute that prohibits open carry in the state of Florida.
Hell yeah.
Both State Attorney Shiner and our legal advisors support this direction, as to enforce the current law following the court's ruling would be unconstitutional. Now, with all of that said, I do want to remind and inform our citizens that the rights of private property owners give them the ability to stop someone from open carrying a firearm on their premises, and that we as citizens should always respect their rights as property owners. So essentially, if you're someone that is now openly carrying a firearm and going to a local grocery store or some type of shop, and the manager or store owner states that open carry is not welcome on their premises, you must respect that directive, or you can be legally trespassed from the property. As with all rights, guarantees, and privileges, there comes a responsibility. So my ask to you as sheriff is that you help protect the right to now openly carry a firearm in the state of Florida by being responsible and safe, using secure holsters, respecting the rights of property owners, taking firearm safety courses, and being a responsible gun owner is all part of what I mean by helping protect that right. As things continue to unfold on this issue, or if there are any other changes to the direction of the court's ruling, I will immediately get our citizens an update. But for now, I want to provide you with the most recent information we have regarding this change and the legality of open carry in Florida.
All right, let's fucking go, man. Now, of course, carrying a firearm, whether if it's concealed or open carry, it comes with significant risks. Like if somebody gets in your face and they like yell at you, like there's a million different things that could just end up happening. And I mean, if you get to a point where you actually have to pull your firearm and point it at somebody, or God forbid, have to discharge it, you know, I'm just saying, man, like you could be facing life in prison if you make just one tiny little mistake. So, and lawful gun owners know this. Like, they know that it comes with a huge responsibility and a hell of a lot of accountability. So, yeah, you just got to be extra careful. And if you don't, feel comfortable with, having that hanging over you, that just the possibility, then, maybe that's not for you. But, I mean, I'm sure as hell happy about this. This is amazing news. So Florida is ending its 40-year ban on the open carrying of firearms, making a significant shift in the state's gun laws. Lawmakers, law enforcement officials, and families are split over what the change means for public safety. So this would be on Tiny URL. Let's see, News Nation, right? Yeah, News Nation. So I'll link it. I won't read it because I've already spent some time on this. So, and I know it's technically not swamp news, but I mean, it's government news. Yeah, I know it's not like DC government news, but I mean, still, I just think it's good news all around. This one's 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Well, it is on News Nation. Let me just give it a watch.
A 40-year ban on open carry, a major shift now in Florida's gun laws. So soon, legal owners will be able to carry their weapons out in the open. And now lawmakers, law enforcement, families are split over what this change means for safety. So News Nation's Ryan Bass, he's outside a police station in St. Petersburg, Florida. Ryan, how are not only police and those authorities, but also businesses preparing for this change?
Yeah, I mean, they're getting ready, Kelly, because this is about to take effect next Thursday. And it all started with the state appeals court in Tallahassee, basically striking down the ban on Florida's open carry law. And that started back in 1987. So this has been nearly 40 years that this has now been revoked. And basically it said it didn't line up with recent Supreme Court rulings, which means now that Florida, starting next Thursday, will become the largest state in about a decade to allow people to openly carry firearms.
Let's go.
This is something that, again, businesses and police officers and police academies are really getting ready for across the state. Sheriffs from Miami-Dade to Central Florida have told deputies to stop making arrests for open carry, but they can still act if someone's carrying in a threatening way. 35 states
better be careful.
Allow open carry without a permit. Florida is about to become another one of them.
I mean, look at this, dude. Look, man, it's a lot more than I even thought, I think. There must have been other states recently that must have passed it, or maybe not. Maybe I just looked at something old or something, but those are all the states that allow open carry without a permit. The majority of the country. This is amazing. So if you go back, let me just take a quick look. States that allow permitless open carry. I suppose I can ask Grok this. I don't want to go digging through a bunch of images, but caps lock. That's all right. 2010, because I thought it was like one state, but I could be wrong. Maybe I've got my information incorrect. As it searches the web, browsing web pages. It's supposed to be fast. I mean, come on, Grok, what the hell? ATF, Wikipedia, open carry, handgun laws. I mean, come on, man, this shouldn't take that long. Browsing webpage. Well, anyway, I'll come back to it. We'll come back to it.
While states like Maryland and Massachusetts allow it with restrictions, 6 states, including California and New York, ban open carry.
35 states Florida, open carry without a permit.
On places that you can't just openly bring a gun into. Some of those we'll show you on your screen. But it includes
like
things like government
schools,
buildings, meetings. You think about stadiums,
government buildings.
Disney World, for example, in Orlando, you can't bring a gun into.
Bars, as
that
I
also
said.
includes polling places, college campuses. However, businesses, they can still ban guns on their property if they choose to. It's also important to note here, Kelly, that this only applies to people who can legally have and own a gun here in Florida,
in St. Petersburg.
Which means felons,
That's
those that have been convicted of domestic violence, and also people under the age of 21. This does not apply to them. Those laws still remain in place.
You know what's crazy? It was almost precisely 7:32 in the morning when I was reading this exact, like not from Newsmax, but from the Tallahassee Democrat. I was reading that article because I wake up like around 7 in the morning. And it was right about 7:30 when I just happened to be reading this. That's kind of wild.
That's an important distinction here.
Because this news came out 4 days ago.
Whether or not this makes streets
not that that was this morning. This was probably 4 days ago.
It certainly does, right? Now, there was a Johns Hopkins study, Kelly, that came out in 2022 that basically showed that states that loosened concealed carry laws, they actually had more gun assaults. However, again, it's all up to interpretation of who you're chatting with.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I bet that crime in general went down because it's a deterrence. It deters people from committing crimes if they believe that anybody around them could be armed at any time. Of course, gun-related incidents would go up just because it's simply by the numbers. There's just more people that have guns.
Of open carry say that it deters those criminals or that crime and that it upholds rights. We did speak with Parkland parent Andrew Pollock, whose daughter, Meadow, actually was killed in the 2018 Parkland school shooting here in Florida. He is actually okay with open carry, especially in school.
You know, I just had a conversation about that just today, the Parkland shooting. I was talking with somebody trying to figure out like what Trump's first crisis as president, and I think that was it. That was the one that I had. I think it was Parkland because he was only president for like 3 weeks or so at the time when that. Or no, hold on. Okay, yeah, I guess I am wrong. I thought that was in 2017. No, he just said 2018. All right. Okay, I was wrong. I guess I was wrong then. Never mind.
This is why I think it's good to have plainclothes officers and teachers in school that carry, because no one knows who is carrying and who's able to defend the kids and shoot back. If you're a real evil person, element of surprise, and it's better for protection.
All right.
Now, Florida Democratic Chair Nikki Fried argues that open carry will actually erode trust in communities. She wants police to hold off here until there's actually more clarity. Even sheriffs are split. Some of them are calling it a policing headache. Others are saying, Kelly, that they will follow what the Attorney General is saying here, which is that open carry in the state of Florida is now a state law. Kelly?
It is. And yes, he is correct about that. It will be a headache for police. It will be a big headache for police. And it could be a headache for police for the foreseeable future. Definitely will be for the first couple of weeks until people start to realize, oh, okay, so I guess I'm not exactly supposed to call 911 if I just see somebody carrying a gun around. No, because it's the law now. If you don't like it, there's the door.